Welcome to the Lancaster City Council meeting.
Do you want to invite Sean up here?
Sean,
He said he gonna leave early, that's why he's not coming.
He can still sit up there.
Okay.
no? All right.
My apologies, Mr. Mayor. What?
No, I was talking to Sean behind you.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. All right. City Clerk.
City Council Member, Agency Director, Authority Members, Doris.
Here.
Molly absent. Mann.
Present.
Vice Mayor, Vice Chairman Chris.
Present.
Mayor, Chairman Paris.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you.
Move to excuse Councilmember Raj Mali.
Second?
Well, most pressing business tonight, okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. The invocation is with Tony Herrera from Grace Chapel tonight. Hi, Tony.
Let's go ahead and bow our heads in prayer. Father, we do thank you for today. Lord, we thank you for your kindness and grace towards us. We see that evidence in the rain today. And Lord, I do just ask that as the council weighs the different things on the agenda tonight, Lord, just that you would give them wisdom. Lord, I thank you for this great city that we live in. Lord, I thank you that we are a light to others, Lord, for your glory. And I do just pray, Lord, that you would continue to bless this valley. Lord, thank you for the efforts of all of those on this council, Lord, and those in the city that work so hard to keep us safe, Lord, and ultimately to glorify you. So, Lord, we give you the glory tonight, Lord, and we just pray your blessing upon this city. And we ask these things in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sure. Please remain standing. Place your hand over your heart and repeat with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Well, we have two special guests, right?
We do.
And I guess this is their debut, right?
This is their debut. So Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council, and the City of Lancaster, we would like to introduce you to our Lancaster mascots, Princess Poppy and Andy Lope. So both mascots were designed in the kawaii style, paying tribute to our sister city of Namie, Japan. Our goal is to bring them out to events, to share a fun personality with the city, to get recognition outside of the city with these amazing mascots. And if our mayor and council are open to it, we would love to take some pictures.
Let's go. You want to get them up here, or you want us to go down there?
Please, come down. It's going to be easier for them. We can. We're thinking about making them like outfits that we can change out.
So we will
for events.
change out the costumes.
Yes. Intentionally.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And 1, 2, 3. Very nice. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. Another pose. 1, 2, 3.
So hot. Yeah, hot.
So, take that, Palmdale. So I'm petty, what can I say? All right. I think that's actually a great idea. I'm glad you did that. I think that's going to have a lot of positive repercussions. Lost Angels presentation? Who's going to help with that?
That'd be me. I'm going to start it off. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. Thank you for the opportunity to present tonight on the Lost Angels Children Project. The Community Services Division within the Parks Department has been working with Lost Angels since 2019, and the goal was to develop and deliver a workforce training program for our transitional age youth here in the Antelope Valley. And as you'll see in the presentation tonight, that has become so much more, including independent life skills, educational opportunities, budget and financial management training. And to date, the city has funded 3 cohorts through the city's homeless plan grant, which is funded by Measure H. And we plan to fund an additional 3 cohorts this upcoming year with our innovation funds also funded by Measure H. So there's going to be a video, and then after the video, the founder and CEO of Lost Angels, Aaron Valencia, will come up and talk to you gentlemen. So thank you.
I'm Aaron Valencia, founder and executive director of Lost Angels Children's Project. Back 2011, 2012, it was just a combination of a lot of things happened at the same time. I started volunteering in a local soup kitchen here in Lancaster, Grace Resource Center. I had a small business restoring classic cars in an industrial complex, and had a lot of kids in the neighborhood coming through. There was a family that was homeless that was nearby, and the little kids, they were 6 and 9, and they were always coming to my shop and hanging out. We had skateboards and music and little dirt bikes, and I'm teaching them little things in the shop. And it just got me just looking back at me growing up with, with not many resources, family in prison, a lot of domestic violence and drugs in the household, and just bouncing around and just not having stability. Since creating a life for myself as a young adult, using my hands and having a business, and just realizing where I'm at now and thinking, how can I take this and turn it into something that I can then help younger versions of myself? In 2014, I started Lost Angels Children's Project as a way to combat youth homelessness. It started as I built a classic car that I had from leftover parts and did a giveaway, did a raffle, sold $20 raffle tickets. And in 5 weeks, we made almost $40,000, $50,000 that we split between a local homeless shelter for youth and a shelter down on Skid Row, Union Rescue Mission. And it started as just a way to help kids that were homeless, just so they could go to Disneyland, have a pair of shoes, show up to school, and not feel like the have-nots for a moment. Well, I did that for 2 years, and by the 3rd year, 2016, it really turned into give a man a fish or teach a man a fish. It went from here's some funding that we raised to opened up an after-school program, doing classic car restoration and art, teaching welding, metal fabrication, math. A lot of what we're trying to do is really create a sense of belonging. When young people feel, or anyone, when they feel like they belong to something, they tend to put their heart into it. So we're creating a sense people maybe might not have that same sense of belonging at home or whatever family they have or don't have. We try and create that here. It's a safe place to come and learn and be after school, and just another support system.
It's hard work, but it's totally worth it. You find yourself in the mornings wanting to get up.
I feel a lot of what we're doing is really trying to create the formula for success in what's working, how do we train our young people and really build those sectoral partnerships in the community, hopefully really deep in the aerospace industry with Lockheed, Northrop, Boeing, Stratolaunch, to be able to hire all of our young people. We've been super fortunate that Northrop has been hiring a lot of our graduates. Our last 2 graduating semesters, Northrop hired, I believe, 95% of our young people, and they're all on a wait list right now. going through background checks and getting all of their clearance. We're starting a career starting at $23 an hour with full benefits. These are futures. We're trying to surpass the $16, $17 an hour jobs in retail and get young people prepped and ready for a full career.
I only worked in the fields and I had a fast food job. So my career was a little let's say stagnant because it wasn't really going anywhere and I didn't have any experience to do anything else and I didn't know how to branch out. When you're here, you feel like you can learn anything, do anything.
I learned how to weld. I learned how to fabricate parts from nothing really, from metal. I learned how to make composites, which I thought was super cool. It taught me skills that, a lot of companies look for. I was hired from Northrop on my very last 2 weeks of class. So I wasn't even done with my class yet when I was hired. I was given an offer letter by Northrop.
One of the things, aside from the jobs that were being made and the futures that were being created, was for me, when we're done at 4 o'clock and it's 6 o'clock and a huge percentage of our young people are still here working, hanging out, talking with our case managers and really just being here and talking about paying bills and adulthood and just creating that safe place where this was a place where people wanted to stay and wanted to keep working. For me, that was the biggest, that was when I realized this is working.
The semester started in March for our cohort, and that was about 3 months. After the 3 months, he hired us as staff, and the semester that just ended, that was about 2 weeks ago. So we were there being instructors for those students, so that was pretty cool. Being on Aaron's side and learning from him.
I wasn't expecting to go to college. I was like, I'm not gonna go to college, I'll just go to a trade program, and this was literally the perfect thing because I'm a hands-on learner and I've done a lot of handyman work. Everything I'm learning right now is applying to what I want for my future.
A lot of the trades and blue-collar work has been pulled out of high schools, auto shop, metal shop, wood shop. A lot of young people aren't really inspired into these fields that are out there, that are paying well. People coming from maybe a lower income or a higher barrier background might think that maybe a better career and a better future isn't really attainable. Maybe even going to college isn't attainable. If you grew up in a household where nobody's doing that, you tend to think that that's just your life, that you won't really, you're not set on that path either. And we want to flip the script on that and show you that you can come from anywhere, with any background, and still be successful. And that we're here as a way, we got your back, and we want to show you this is the path. That it doesn't matter what you've been through or where you're from, it's where you're going, and we're here to help you on that path.
For the most part, I like doing circles because I can control and I can bring that puddle back where I want it.
Wow. So where's that facility at?
We were on Trevor and Jackman, and now we just moved in last January to Beach, the old Arnie Race Building on Beach and Avenue J at the skate park.
So how many people do you have that you're training at any given time?
Our semesters are 25 students a time for 3 months. So we're doing 75 students a year out of that building. And we're reopening our previous 5,000 square foot shop on Trevor and Jackman. We're reopening that before the end, actually right before Thanksgiving. So we can do another 12 to 15 students a semester out of that. So we're looking to graduate hopefully 100 to 120 young people a year into the workforce.
And you have 95% employment.
Right, yeah, right now we're really, really fortunate that we've teamed up almost with open arms with Northrop Grumman. They're interviewing, they're coming and doing interviews at our facility.
What's the attrition rate of people who join the program?
Right now, we've been doing our work programs since the beginning of COVID 2019. So pretty much everyone, the last 2 semesters this year have all gotten job offers. Our young people from our first semesters coming through, a lower percentage got into Northrop. It was before we really bridged that gap. Everyone that's went into aerospace has stayed there. I think we are at, if we go through the slides, it can show the percentage of young people who are working. It's pretty high.
Wow.
We are.
And who funds you?
It's a little bit of everybody. It's a lot of private foundations. We're super grateful to have support from the city of Lancaster that's helped us actually, as Sonia was saying, as a pilot program in 2019. We got some funding from there. A lot of private foundations, some of our own fundraisers. We're still doing our car giveaways every year, help offset the cost.
What's your budget?
Right now, with our new building, we're right at $2 million.
$1 million a year?
Yeah, no, $2 million a year with 2 locations.
Do the math. How does that work out per student?
I think if we were at 80%, I think it was almost about $14,000 per student graduated. So a $14,000 investment into a young person that goes from potentially homeless, in jail, on the streets, to now in a full career and a lifetime career, actually as a benefit to society instead of potentially a plight.
What are the criteria for getting in the program?
Oh, thank you. Criteria really is, we cater to low barrier, low income, high barrier young people out here, but it really comes down to motivation. Who is hungry? There's a lot of people who, it's for us to determine who needs it and who wants it. A lot of people need it, but who wants it? It's a tough program. It's not for everybody. You have to really want to get up every morning, put your work boots on, and work. That's our whole premise, is to build strong people.
So do they provide any of the funding, meaning student loans, anything like that?
Who's that?
The student themselves?
No, everything is free. Everything is free.
So of the 125 that start the program, how many actually finish the program?
Our graduation rate is, I think we're about a 95% graduation. We do a pretty strict vetting, and our case managers work tirelessly to build up young people. It's not just teaching someone how to weld, it's teaching someone how to be an adult, how to deal with life on life's terms, how to have a bank account, how to deal with your boss when your boss is grouchy. You know, we run this as a social enterprise, so it's a 12-week course. Here, if I can figure out how this thing works. Here we go. Who we cater to is our transitional age youth, 18 to 24-year-old young people. It's a 12-week work program. The first 6 weeks is unpaid apprenticeship. At week 7, it's drug test. The drugs is a big one. No one's going to hire you if you're still doing drugs or smoking weed, so that's one of our requirements. Drug test and interview at week 7, and then they're employed. They're working for us, actually getting a paycheck. What we've seen is when it goes from a training course to an actual job, the sense of pride and the sense of accomplishment in young people completely changes. Now they get up and they show up on time and they show up early and they're ready to work. Sometimes people just need that chance. Hands-on rebuilding and restoration. We use classic cars as it's a cool entry level. Everybody likes a classic car, an old truck or a lowrider or something cool, so it's just that way to, how do we trick people into wanting to work for a living? Got to make it cool. Excuse me. Got to make it fun. So far we've had since inception, we started with doing 12 students a semester and have grown. We've grown to 25 students a semester, and now with 2 locations, we can do 38. We just interviewed and hired 38 young people that are going to start this new semester just after Thanksgiving. We've had 86 students come through, 81 have graduated. 73 of those 86 are employed and working right now. 59 of those are working in aerospace or manufacturing at sustainable wage jobs. A lot of those jobs start at $20 an hour and up. One of our young persons from our first semester got hired at BYD, has been promoted through by BYD, and just got hired at Northrop starting at $30 an hour. This is someone in a year and a half, went from not having a job and not really knowing anything and just lost to now he's making $30 an hour at Northrop. That's a career, that's a life.
So where did we find you?
Honestly, I started volunteering at Grace Resource Center years ago. I moved out here and I just had a small business restoring classic cars, and I just wanted to give back and just started doing volunteer work with Steve Baker and everybody at Grace Resource Center, and it grew. And I saw a need. I saw myself coming up as a homeless teen, with high barriers and not a lot of support. I made a life for myself, as I said in the video, and I saw that there was younger versions of ourselves. There's still a huge void for people out in the community, and I thought I was doing a plate of food, and I thought this is great, but I felt like I could do more. And this is where we're at right now, teaming up with the city of Lancaster, with Christina Smith and Toy Chisholm. If you remember her, someone that was here several years ago, was amazing with her and Christina Smith sitting at the table and coming up with ideas on how could we do more. And this is where we are now, and we're still growing. Who we serve, high barrier, low income. It's a lot of, we know there's a high number of foster care young people out here aging out. We know the homeless situation out here. How can we benefit young people aging out of foster care? Support system and a job. We have a lot of DACA out here, first generation citizens, probation, parole. Some of the skills they're learning, we use classic cars. There's so many transferable skills from welding, grinding, cutting, composites, all the carbon fiber, electrical mechanics, bodywork and paint. We have a full body shop at that facility with a state-of-the-art spray booth. So now people are getting real hands-on experience, which is everything. How are you going to get a job with no experience? How are you going to get experience with no job? We're trying to fill that void. Soft skills, we do soft skill training every week. We have great case managers who do interview preparation, financial literacy, team building, mentorship, and really professional emails, how to not say what's up in an email to your boss. Our certifications, we've teamed up with Paving the Way, another nonprofit here in Lancaster, and they've been a great resource for us, and CCAV, AVPH, and just really everyone coming together. A lot of our young people leave CPR trained, forklift trained, hazmat, OSHA, and confined spaces. Any certifications that we can give people to put on their resume to hit the workforce, how can we better prepare people? Additional support, people coming through with no high school diploma, no GED. We're starting to bridge a gap with 5 Keys and with HiSET and with LACO to get our young people, to get them set in that 3-month course to graduate with their high school diploma. Driver's license, we pay for driver's training, driver's license. If you don't have it, how can we help? A lot of what we realized is people just need that extra someone to help them through those things that just seem like a mountain. Just going to the DMV seems like, for someone that's never been and hasn't had a support system, it seems like a mountain and it just seems too much. We'll go with you. Sometimes it's just someone to go with you to make things happen. Pay for glasses.
How many employees do you have?
Not enough. Not enough. I think we have 12 right now, and that's with our warehouse staff. Yeah, we're growing, and we're realizing, we're seeing that just the capacity building is what we need. We've tried to grow very strategically, and now we're at a point. I think we have over 300 people on a wait list. To me, that's a good problem, but it also means we can only handle 120 at a time.
300 vetted people or 300 just initial applications?
Initial applications, and I think vetted, I think we're at 200 that have already gone back and forth, done the initial, come in for the initial intake and waiting to be interviewed for the next panel to come into the program. And sometimes it really is working with the sectoral partnerships with Lance and Delta, these other places, to get them hired, get them working, get some experience while they're waiting to come in with us. So we're seeing a lot of people on a wait list. What could we do? Future plans.
What's the monthly food card?
So we do, all of our students, we do $100 a month food cards. So we pay for lunch. While you're working, I don't want food to be a thought. I don't want you to have to think coming to work on an empty stomach. So we pay for food cards.
Are some of these kids homeless?
Several. We work with VOALA, a youth homeless shelter here in Lancaster. Some of our kids that have come through, we're staying in the shelters. A lot of our people at that age, a lot of our young people are staying with friends, couch surfing, living with a grandma, living with an auntie, living with somebody. So how can we help support you? Sometimes just having that so you don't have to worry about lunch.
So what did we give them?
I'm sorry?
We've provided funding for the programs for the 3 cohorts that have happened, and we're providing funding for an additional 3 cohorts this coming year.
I knew that. That's why I asked, what did you give them?
Dollars.
How much?
It was $50 a semester?
150, 150,000? Sorry, I have to ask the experts back there. 150,000 a semester.
No, I think as a total, no. It ended up being $50,000
for 3.
a semester.
So yeah, 50,000 a cohort.
I'm sorry.
$50,000 a cohort. So our investment to date has been $150,000. Our future investment that we plan is another $150,000.
What else could we do for you?
How do I answer that? No, I think,
You know how I'm a lawyer.
Yeah.
And I teach lawyers. And you know how I guarantee you will not get a $100 million verdict? Don't ask.
so, yeah, no, 100%. You're right. You're right. A big chunk of our funding every year goes to rent. Rent is a big one. We pay $10,000 a month for rent to have a 10,000 square foot shop, but without that, we wouldn't be able to have the impact. So it's worth every penny. But that's a
You got
huge chunk that
10,000
could be
feet laying around
reallocated.
someplace?
I'm sorry?
I'm talking to Jason.
Oh.
You got 10,000 feet laying around someplace?
We don't have the square footage, but the resources, if the council so chooses, are available.
This is something that actually works.
I agree completely. No, that's why they're here.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would love to.
I thought you were going to bore me to death.
No, I would love to have, if you would all like a site visit, I think coming and actually seeing how things are going. I'm sorry?
Can I come tomorrow?
Come tomorrow, we'll be there. We'll be there working all day. Our class will be in session. You can see we have a few students. We actually have a few students right now that are still back at the shop working, finishing up, actually painting, would be here right now, but a couple of our girls are painting a car right now that wanted to be here, but they wanted to get it done. So what we've kind of created is just a maker space where you can come and excel and grow.
We need to adopt this program.
The biggest thing, I think, the biggest success is creating the real work environment and also the sectoral partnerships. Northrop has been a huge one for us. Delta Scientific, Lance Campers, BYD has been great. We've been trying to get in a little bit tighter with BYD to have maybe a commitment of, would you hire some of our higher barrier kids or some of our young people who are on a list waiting to get in back with us, or to build their skill levels up. So the employment, the partnerships, the incentive is the job. We can teach them everything, but that whole point is to get that job at the end. If there was a way to work together somehow to where some of these hiring agencies would guarantee spots for us, or at least guarantee interviews. And how could we alter our training program to better suit those jobs? Our whole thing is to get young people. I don't know how to end homelessness, but I can pretty much guarantee most of these people won't end up homeless with a $40, $30 an hour job.
You got any success with the car dealerships?
I'm sorry?
You had any success with the car dealerships?
As far as for
Getting kids
employing?
into, for the
No,
side.
I haven't looked into car dealerships. Being mechanics was never part of I'd rather have them get a job in aerospace. There's so much more money than being a car mechanic. We use cars as just that hook to get them in the door because it's intriguing. And it's all transferable skills. If you know how to read a tape measure and do a rusty patch panel on a 64 Impala, you can help build a wing for an airplane.
You teach them how to complete a project.
Yes.
I mean, the project management that has to go into
Yeah.
one of those is,
Communication, problem solving,
all right.
not to have lazy brain.
We'll interview everybody you send us, and if they get through the testing, we'll have a place for them.
As the city of Lancaster, or?
No, my office.
Yeah.
I mean, and we pay a lot.
But, yeah, let's talk. yeah. I'm sorry
I mean, look what you're doing. You're taking, we hire 50 people a year.
Mm-hmm.
We only keep 20.
Yeah.
Because you've already solved that. If we get them from you, I know they show up to work on time. I know they have a work ethic. I know they know how to complete a project. A lot of things there.
Yeah.
I mean, you have quite a service to offer.
We are tough. We do a thing. Some people agree or don't agree, but if you're 1 minute late, turn around and go home. Try again tomorrow. Late, tardy, missing days is not acceptable. Swearing is another one. You have to hold yourself up. Swearing is 10 push-ups. It's one of those things that hold yourself accountable. I know everybody be doing push-ups, I'm sure, but it's one of those things as young people that foul language is one of those things. It's just how do we get people to, everybody swears. I say that's fine, but how do we get young people to hold themselves accountable? It starts there and grows.
So you have an exercise program also.
With your direction, we can
yeah, exactly.
What?
With your direction, we can ask Sonia and Christina to work on ways to have a deeper investment and support.
I think this is a terrific program. What do you guys think?
I like it, but there's other ways that we can help you, like with your paint booth.
Yeah.
Your forklifts, stuff like that, we can help you
You good with it?
with that type of stuff.
That would be great. Sponsorship stuff is awesome. I'm actually looking to purchase 2 forklifts right now. We need big time. So, I mean,
Okay, before you do that, make sure that you contact us or someone from the ABA-QMD.
100%.
Hey, I got some electric forklifts in the warehouse that we've never used, just sitting there.
Let's plug them in.
You gotta come look at them.
Yeah. No, that'd be great. Yeah, the capacity building where we are at right now, we're at a spot where we've been doing a lot of our in-house bookkeeping. We're needing a CFO. We're needing to really grow in-house and structure and really create this formula that really is replicable in other areas, where a lot of people think that we're in downtown LA or we're all over the place. We get asked and get referrals from probation departments, and once they find out we're in Lancaster, they're like, ah. So it's a replicable thing, but this could be our flagship.
Keep in mind, we don't want to be importing people.
Yeah, no, I know. No, of course. I think we have enough young people here who need that leg up.
All right, let's do whatever we need to do to help them. I think this is fabulous.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Thank you
can
so
finish
much.
your show now, I'm sorry.
I think we did it. Is everybody else? I hope we is still here. I think that was about it. Just where we're growing. What we need is just capacity building. Sectoral partnerships is that one where it's to have interviews where young people can have a job somewhere with like Lance Campers Delta or with City of Lancaster, where it's come through the program, run through the steps, and we can pretty much get you a job. But once you're vetted and you're really hungry. And that was it. I think we did a lot of just talking the whole time. So, no, thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity and the time to come up here and let you know what we've been doing here in your city. Come on. Everybody's coming right from the west. Do you want to go up?
Could we have everyone sort of in front of? All right, everyone, thank you. 1, 2, 3. And 1 second, and another. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so who's going to top that? Okay, council members May and Doris need to recuse themselves from items number CC6 and CC7.
And Mr. Mayor, with the absence of Councilmember Molly, that makes those items unable to be voted on tonight. So we'll need to pull them from the agenda. They'll go on the next meeting.
Okay, great. No rush on them at all?
No, there's no rush on them. And also 11, 12, and 13 need to be pulled for a future meeting as well.
Say that again?
11, 12, and 13.
We're continuing those to December 13th?
Correct.
And then there was a matter I thought Marvin wanted pulled?
I want to pull CC9. So we're actually pulling CC6, CC7, CC9, CC11, CC12, and CC13.
Correct.
And if you'll vote on 9, I have to recuse myself because I might benefit from it.
Okay, so walk me through this. I'm slow.
Yeah,
So-
maybe we ought to take
So-
those items.
So item 9, you can vote on tonight.
All right, let's vote on
So let's
item
do
nine.
that.
Let's vote on 9
Yep.
now. Are there any speaker cards?
No.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept CC9.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It passes unanimously. Okay, so what else do we have left to vote on?
The rest of the consent calendar with those items removed.
Okay.
So-
Is
So
there
the
a
balance of the
Hang on,
consent
this-
calendar excluding 6, 7, 11, 12, and 13.
Okay, Marvin can come back for this, right?
Can we review those again now that the vice mayor's there?
I'll do it.
Oh, thank you.
I'll make a motion that we do the consent calendar, pulling CC6, CC7, CC9, CC11, CC12, and CC13.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Let's vote. And it passes unanimously. Thank you. PH1, zone change. This is located between K and K8, 55th Street West, on the east side of, this is over by Lancaster Baptist, right? Is that the one? No, it's not, is it?
No, but we need to open up the public hearing, Mayor.
Okay, so let's open the public hearing. Any speaker cards?
No.
Let's waive the staff report. Is there a motion?
It was my understanding it was pulled.
Which one?
PH1?
PH1 is pulled?
The public hearing we're hearing now is PH1.
I'm sorry?
Okay. I was wrong.
Okay, is there a motion to?
I'll make a motion to.
Oh, I got to close the public hearing, right? Bang, closed. Now.
I'll make a motion to approve PH1.
I'll second that motion.
Let's vote. It passes unanimously. New business item 1, Shop Local, Shop Lancaster program. And I would like to hear about this from Sydney. You think I'm picking on you, I know, but that's not true. I just want to hear about it.
No, I don't think you're picking on me. I just don't want you to be disappointed because I don't know that I'm quite as compelling as Aaron Valencia with Los Angeles. However, I am a little bit of a Christmas elf, so I might be able to win some brownie points with that. Or you guys will be, I'll make you guys Christmas elves.
Are we providing counseling for the?
So, good evening, Mayor Paris, Vice Mayor Chris, members of the council. It's that time of year again. I'm here to, as we like to call them, give out Rex Bucks. This year, though, we've partnered with Blue Dot Technology to create a digital app that allows users to track spending and earn rewards that would be redeemed when shopping locally. So in an effort to get the word out and kind of incentivize the community to engage, download our app, we're looking at distributing $250,000 worth of the $20 cards that we've done with our past programs. And then the other $250,000 that we're asking for this program would help support that and run it through sponsoring the rewards through the remainder of the following year. The app should be ready to launch by the end of November, prior to Thanksgiving, and we will be working with our communications team along with economic development to get the word out and encourage the community to shop local, not just at the holidays, but throughout the year, and kind of explain to them what the importance of shopping local is and does. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. It's an ill-kept secret that people have filed complaints about our gift card program. I want to know with certainty that we are dotting the i's and crossing the t's. I'm a little bit concerned about that issue since that those programs Palmdale took our program and what became the most business-friendly city based upon it. We kept our businesses thriving when everybody else's were collapsing, and now we're taking heat for it. I shouldn't be surprised, but I also think we should be prepared to make absolutely certain that every T is crossed, every I is dotted. If I want you to hire a reputable law firm to assist in that, I want a second opinion that everything we have done has been absolutely appropriate. And if it's not, what do we have to do to fix it? It's upsetting that we have to do this, but I think we do. We need to know that it's, whenever you have something that is successful, there are people who will attack it. And we see that time and time again. I imagine somebody will be attacking angels, lost angels, before the day's out. But can you tell I'm frustrated? So, everybody agreeable with that?
So should we hold up on this then until we find out?
What?
Should we hold up on this vote until we find out? This is similar to what we just did, right?
If we slow down on this, is it going to affect the program and
No, the urgency was more around like Small Business Saturday and things like that, but we can continue, we can roll this out whenever.
Just
But
to mention.
wait a minute, but I want to be clear about that also. These programs are working. People are thriving because of it. I don't care who.
Be careful,
is
you'll get
up-
push-ups.
I don't care who gets upset about it until somebody tells me that it's not.
Sir, if I could give a recommendation, we don't have another council meeting till early December because of Thanksgiving break. You can approve it today, and you have my commitment and Allison's commitment that we will not move forward if there's any issues from the
Can we
things you
make it
mentioned.
contingent on that approval?
Yes.
Okay.
So contingent on that second opinion?
Correct.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion that we approve NB1 with being contingent on the second council's approval.
I'll second that motion then.
And that motion includes the finding that the program serves the public purpose of economic revitalization and jobs retention. Correct?
Well,
Correct.
I think there's a law out there someplace that if a program actually works, it's illegal. But that's what, I want to make certain that that's not the case, all right?
Was the addendum to the motion okay with you, Councilmember Mann?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, so we have a motion, we have a second, and
You just need to vote.
we can vote. And it passes unanimously. Council agenda. You're on the corridor, right? All right. I'm going to reappoint you to that. Is there a motion?
I'll second your motion to make,
I didn't make the motion, I nominated a.
that is the motion.
It's still a
correct?
motion though.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll second his motion.
all right, let's vote.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't.
It's not a question of can you vote for yourself, it's, should you vote for it? Should you vote for this particular candidate? Okay. All right. Metro Link. We must have some speaker cards on Metro Link.
No, nothing.
Nothing.
None.
We do have a letter from the supervisor.
Yes. Actually, the letter was to me, so I don't think I have to read it.
I think it was copied to.
I know you copied it, but I don't think we have to make it part of the council.
Okay.
Mayor,
Just
can
so
I
you
say
guys are
something to you?
aware-
Can I say something to what I heard from the meeting? A lot of people that I heard were actually in support of what you were saying, as long as we were able to get folks to where they needed to be. A lot of people are seeing homeless with suitcases, and that seems kind of odd that they're walking around with a bunch of suitcases. I
It's
know
not
we,
odd. We know what, they're shipping their
Well-
homeless to Lancaster. We're at the end of the line.
right, right. And I know it's a fine line of trying to figure out if somebody's supposed to be here or not, or can they come in or not, but we understand what we're dealing with right now, so.
I talked to the supervisor. I want to put this off for 28 days. But I just want to continue it for 28 days.
To the next council meeting?
Yes. What I conveyed to the supervisor is I want it stopped. I mean, it just has to stop. I don't care how they stop it, but they have to stop it. The other thing is, I conveyed to her, is I mean, for heaven's sakes, that train should be safe, comfortable. My wife should be able to go to LA and come back at the end of the day and feel totally fine in doing that. And the fact that the county is incapable of providing such a transportation system is disturbing to me. What I've suggested that we do is we meet with them, we attempt to make that happen. But if it does not happen, that station closes. How does it benefit us to have a billion-dollar train system that serves no one? I mean, except moving people's problems around the county, you know? I mean, essentially, that's what it's become. It's become a way to move homeless from one place to the next. And the people that are using it for work are using it at great personal risk, is the only way I can say it. So you're clear what I want to do? I want them to fix it. I want them to do it right. Then enter into a contract with us that has liquidated damages on it so that the moment they quit performing, they owe us money. You know, it's what they do in real business. I don't know why we shouldn't do it here. Everybody in agreement? Put it on the next council meeting then. Thank you. Which brings us to council reports.
We did have a meeting with LASA, MetroLink, the Metro Police, the supervisor's office in regards to the MetroLink station, and they continued to tell their fairy tales about what they were going to do and how they were going to do it. It's a real problem. We need to do everything that we can to make sure that the people that do use the MetroLink station, we're in the process of creating a bus bridge from Steve Owens Park to Palmdale so they can catch the MetroLink there. What we're trying to do is stop the homeless. I did talk with one of the ambassadors, and one of the ambassadors told me that they're contacting between 18 and 25 homeless per day that come off the train. So with that being said, that I'm looking forward to the meeting in 30 days.
We cannot continue to import 18 homeless people onto Lancaster Boulevard every single day. That's insanity. We either have a workable plan in 28 days or we don't have a train station. Good.
We also had a meeting with all the developers in regards to the VMT tax that is being levied by the state and the county. The VMT tax is vehicles mile traveled. So rather than the city setting the tax, it was suggested that we meet with all the developers and let them set it for themselves. And we had a pretty good meeting, and it was well attended, and they came up with a pretty good thing. that's it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to say thank you and apologize to the MOA. The MOA last weekend had celebrated myself for being one of the council members that always likes art, and I wasn't able to attend due to the only fact that my eldest son was playing his last senior football game in college, and it clashed on the same day, same weekend. So I do want to give a shout out to MOA because they had a great event, and I did have one of my, Devin Burden took the award for me, which is one of the newer city people. But I do honor my family. This is my son's last football game. He's played a great year, 2 years in college, and it just clashed, and I couldn't get out of it. So
Weren't you the honoree?
I was.
And
I
you
was,
the
Rex.
honoree at the event, but you went to a football game instead?
I went to my son's senior day.
Whoa.
I know. But I want to honor Andy and the MOA. It was a wonderful event, and I saw the pictures, and I want to thank Mr. Devin Burden for being there for me. So just wanted to say that.
Well, tell me he won the game.
They lost by a point and missed the bowl game because of it. So I'm glad I was there because I've never seen my son cry over a football game. So with it being his last one and losing for the bowl game, I needed to be there to console him. Nothing like seeing a 6'4", 250-pound, 23-year-old cry.
Mayor, we also ought to recognize the Parks and Recreation for this last weekend. Despite the weather, the Field of Drafts event looked like it was a successful event. So thank you much, Sonia. Tell the team, great job, despite the wind.
Will do, thank you. Yeah, the wind was not our friend on Saturday.
No.
And we do have a short video for that, Ken, if you want to let him play it.
Okay.
Daryl was supposed to take care of the wind, but
I was at a football game.
all right.
Can we see that?
This highlights what Lancaster's about. Doing events, giving back to the public, giving back to the community, making sure the community has events in which they can showcase their different wares. So this is a perfect example of what Lancaster's about.
It's always been a great event, brings a lot of people out. As we start into the holidays, people have some good cheer, talk about good times.
This is absolutely my most favorite event in all the 21st Senate District. I represent over 1 million constituents, and this is the #1 event.
Pretty much everybody's just in a good mood. And that's what's nice to see when there's so much to be frustrated over and to find difficulty with. Everybody's happy here.
You guys weren't drinking, were you? Oh.
I was.
I think I had 2 beers, little ones.
Is that what you told the cop? 2 beers.
2 beers.
All right. What else we got?
City manager announcements, just real quick. We recently sent out a press release announcing our partnership with an MOU with Heliogen. As the council knows, we've been working very diligently under the mayor's leadership on hydrogen, and we're seeing some fruits to that labor. Heliogen is looking for an expansion site to do some of their work. We're also working for some large developers who are looking for some big sites on the east side of town to actually manufacture hydrogen and hopefully create us as a hydrogen hub for the kind of a center of hydrogen excellence. So we're working diligently on that, and that's just one of the press releases went out, one of the successes. There'll be more to come. We also have a couple more events coming with parks. They've been busy. This is their busy time of year. We have Magical Boulevard Christmas coming up. If you can believe it, it's Christmas already. December 10th from 5 to 9 p.m. on the Boulevard. Admission is free. Come and enjoy. It's one of our special events. There'll be snow on the Boulevard. And Breakfast with Santa is December 17th. You can sign up at our website and come and join us. And this weekend, we have a busy time at LPAC. We have Matt Frazier and It's Magic, a long-running all-star magic review. And the holiday shows, of course, in December, the Nutcracker Ballet, Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, which is always a great event locally. And, of course, our Tidy Up crew, proud of this one. At Avenue I, they partnered with Caltrans to clean up that area, and they took out 20 truckloads and approximately 40 bags of weeds, trash, debris, and it was cleaned up, and it was noticeable the next day. They've just done a fantastic job. So kudos to our Tidy Up team who's out there busily picking up illegal dumps and trash and homeless cleanups, and you name it. It's a never-ending battle, but they're working hard on it, and that's all I have.
So are we going to play the Vice piece?
Oh, yeah, if you want to, we have the Vice piece loaded up. One note, too, is when we talk about the challenges we're facing with the Metrolink, we're also facing a significant amount of challenges with homelessness and the cleanups necessary for that. There was a story that was done by Vice News about Lancaster, and just want to make sure the council's aware of it, and we'll show it as I think it wasn't intended to be a point of pride, but I think it showcases our efforts of what we're trying to accomplish by keeping our community clean and as free as homelessness as we can.
I mean, that wasn't a puff piece on me? Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh.
I thought they was going to try to kill us.
Huh?
I thought they was going to try to kill us.
No, it's a puff piece. Look.
I think a lot of us have been out here for multiple years, kind of gotten used to it. The summers out here are brutal, and the winters are unforgiving. You got a hose. No.
About 40 miles north of Los Angeles is the city of Lancaster. And just beyond that is where Jeff Vangari has lived for the last 9 years.
It sucks. It's like fun and games. Especially being all the way out here out of town. If it's hard to get anywhere to get food or drink. Let's go out that way.
Vangari doesn't have a car or running water, which means whenever he can get a ride into town, he takes it.
I go usually probably once or twice a week and fill up 1 or 2 of those 55-gallon drums. Because we use it for everything, bathrooms, cleaning up, dishes, cooking, everything. I think the hardest part about living out here is trying to stay out of your own head. It's not like I woke up one day and said, hey, I want to go live in the desert and make life 1,000 times more difficult for myself. Circumstances led up to it, and I haven't quite figured out the circumstances that'll get me out of it yet, I guess. Okay. Good enough. Yep.
Vangari is homeless, and out here, he's not alone.
So driving around this part of the desert, you see encampments in pretty much every direction. Some of them are larger groupings of trailers, and others are individuals out on their own with nobody around.
Hundreds of people without homes live in this part of the Mojave Desert, unincorporated land just beyond Avenue G, one of the city limits of Lancaster.
Were you ever within the city limits?
Yeah.
And why did you move out here?
Pretty much told by law enforcement that the only way not to be messed with, i.e. our camps ransacked or bulldozed or even burnt down, it would be to move north of G, which G is that street right there. Law enforcement just treated us like dirt, and they just wanted us out of their city.
So you feel like you were really pushed out of the city?
Not feel like we were.
More than half of all unsheltered people in the U.S. live in California. In LA County, authorities have prioritized crackdowns on encampments and sweeping homeless people off the streets and out of sight. But since they've had little to no success in addressing the root of the problem, encampments just pop up somewhere else. Lancaster is an especially tough place to be unhoused. Homeless people make up 1% of the population, but receive 25% of the city's citations. The mayor has called homeless people criminals and thugs, and even suggested residents arm themselves in defense.
We are not going to look like LA. We are not going to have people parked on the sidewalks.
Donnie? Hello? Hello, hello. All right, I brought over as many waters as would fit in my purse, but there's actually more.
Eve Garrow has spent years analyzing Southern California's homeless policies and police practices.
People think of banishment as some kind of archaic practice, but you ask unhoused people, and it happens to them all the time. The difference is that out here, they're being told to go deep into the Mojave Desert. And a lot of these people are very vulnerable, you know. I mean, I worry about them surviving out here.
Most citations given to homeless people in Lancaster are for things like camping, loitering, or panhandling, infractions that the ACLU considers as criminalizing homelessness.
Who is responsible for what's happening out here?
The city of Lancaster is not friendly towards people who are unhoused. They don't treat this as a humanitarian crisis. They don't treat it as a housing crisis. They treat unhoused people as if they are criminals when their only crime is not having enough income to afford, say, a $2,000 a month, you know, one-bedroom apartment.
So when they came through with a bulldozer. They started over there and at the end of the way down there, and they just started sweeping everything down towards the end.
Sarah Odom lost her job and became homeless last year. 3 months ago, the city came to bulldoze the camp she was living in.
No, I'm standing my ground. I'm not gonna move. I'm not gonna move. You guys have a phone? Can you record it? So as I'm arguing with public safety and the police, I decided, okay, fine. I grabbed all my stuff together and just threw it over the wall because I was like, I don't want my stuff to get, you know, it's all I kind of pretty much have left. So I just.
You didn't want it to get bulldozed?
No.
Police still do regular sweeps of the area, but Odom refuses to leave.
This thing is pretty stripped from everybody kind of using it.
Oh, I see.
But you just got to really get like a good grip on it. And
Whoa.
yeah. So this is how I try not to waste too much water. California is in a drought.
Have you gotten citations?
I've gotten illegal camping tickets. I've gotten 4, and I fought them all in court. Because if I say that I'm guilty of illegal camping, it means I'm guilty of a crime. Being homeless is not a crime. So public safety, they're like code enforcement, right? So when they were out with law enforcement during the sweep, they are the ones that told me to my face, oh yeah, just go out in the middle of, you know, past Avenue G. We won't bother you there. We don't bother any of you guys out there. You can go be homeless out there if you want. And I'm like.
And that means going to the desert.
That means going out into the desert where there's nothing and nothing for miles. For miles. I don't have a car. You know, I'm walking in flip-flops as it is, and I don't want to be segregated from society. I want to get back into working, and how am I supposed to do that in an area where there's nothing for miles? I feel like it's so easy to get lost out there. They just want us gone. They want to sweep us under the rug, and I'm sorry, but I refuse to be swept under a rug.
Policing in Lancaster is handled by the LA County Sheriff's Department. When we reached out for this story, the local deputies declined to speak with us, but the LASD did let us film with their Homeless Outreach Services team, or HOST. It's a relatively small unit tasked with connecting homeless people to services. Their deputies claim to have never made an arrest or used force.
So today we're going to do a ride-along with the homeless outreach team of the LA Sheriff's Department as they go into the desert and talk to the people living out there.
We're a humanitarian effort. We're not traditional law enforcement, and we realize traditional law enforcement doesn't work when dealing with the homeless population.
Lieutenant William Kitchen leads host operations in this part of the county.
How long you been out here in the desert? 5 years? Well, I think you're a beautiful young woman, and I kind of worry about you out here. How long you been out here, Bruce?
8 years.
8 years. Are you working with any homeless service provider here, out here? No? Are you struggling with anything right now? Drugs, alcohol, or anything? Good for you.
I'm clean, just working, just trying to stay. It's just hard.
If you need anything, just reach out. Cool?
It's definitely nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, brother.
Do you trust the LA Sheriff's Department to help you out of your situation?
It's not so much a trust issue, because trust was taken away a long time ago. That's something that's going to take a while to be built.
Have you ever seen this team out here before?
Not like this.
Not like this.
What's different about today?
Normally it's like trying to get us to do something or follow their rules or try to make something happen, or it's not like, normally like out here to help us or like, check on us. You already pushed this way out here. It's like, how you wouldn't come out here and deal with us too. It's like, where else can we go? And that's the big thing. It's like, what do you do? Where do you go?
So when we show up, you were out with us today. Did you feel any tension between the police and the people that were out there?
No, but we were also out there with cameras though, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah, but we're out there every day. So there's no tension. We bring the services to them where we are, and we just try to make that human connection.
Are you in touch at all with the deputies here in Lancaster who some people say are encouraging them to move out into the desert?
We are in touch with them. The local deputies who work this geographic area all the time keep in touch, and they'll call them and ask them to go to certain areas and see what the needs are.
Don't you think, though, that the local deputies could be contributing to the problem if they're advising people, as many homeless people have told us, to go outside of the city limits?
Sure, that could be the case. I don't know if the truth to it, or if someone, a deputy sheriff basically said you can't be here based on where they were.
Well, people we spoke with who are living out there said, we feel like we've been pushed out here by the LASD.
If that is happening by deputy sheriffs, I would highly discourage it.
Do you think that the LA Sheriff's Department bears any responsibility for helping make this problem worse in the first place?
I think we all have responsibility, whether it be overt or not overt. I think this crisis has exploded. It impacts communities. It impacts every corner of the county.
Bruce Whittinghill lives in the desert and was approached by Host. He agreed to be taken to Lancaster's main shelter complex.
Hi, Bruce. Proud of you, brother.
The Kensington campus is a 14-acre housing facility with 300 rooms for permanent and transitional housing. Whittinghill was offered a spot in the temporary shelter.
How does it feel to be here now?
I've got expectations to a certain extent, and I don't feel like I'm being crowded or corralled or anything like that, or forced to be here. I'm actually happy in the fact that I've got the opportunity to be here. This gives me a little breathing time.
So what the city is offering people is long-term shelter living. Part of the model of Kensington campus is permanent supportive housing. It's filled up, and for folks like this, I don't think that's accessible either.
What is the solution?
Real housing. These policy decisions to disinvest in affordable housing go back a few decades and have been the result of neglect by all levels of government. Outreach and services will not end houselessness. Housing will end houselessness.
What? That one's already done. I'm just gonna dig another hole over here. So, digging a
didn't
trash hole
realize it
is
was a full feature.
another way the city makes it a lot more difficult. For us is if we're seen by a cop, putting our trash into a dumpster, so it's actually taken to the city dump.
Just so we're clear, 60% of them are in the criminal justice system. If you get burglarized tonight, it will probably be by somebody who is homeless. They will ride up on their bicycle, which they stole, and them and their buddies will burglarize your house. Hopefully, they don't mutilate your body if they kill you, which recently happened. You know, I played this for a reason. Did you see the homeless shelter? Nobody was there. How many millions of dollars went into that facility? People aren't being forced out into the desert because what they're being forced off is our streets, our sidewalks. They're offered a place to live. It's not adequate for them. Fine, I don't care. Go out into the desert. But stay off our city streets. Stay off our sidewalks. Stay off our off-ramps and on-ramps. I don't think we could be any clearer. And whatever involvement the deputies have in moving these people out of our city, I congratulate you for that. That is exactly what we want you to do. I don't care what the ACLU says about it. I have no empathy at all for them. It would be different if we didn't have Kensington, if we didn't have a place that was providing them with medical care, food, and a place to sleep in a relatively safe environment, far safer than anything they have out on the streets. I'm just not getting this. I'm not getting and no, we just don't have the money to buy everybody a $2,000 a month apartment. It's just not conceivable. It's not possible. So have I made our position clear? Anybody disagree? I do not see any benefit whatsoever in encouraging people to live on Lancaster Boulevard, to live on our off-ramps, to allow them to literally pillage our neighborhoods. I mean, if you lost an Amazon package today, it was probably by somebody who was homeless, who stole a bike, who rode up onto your driveway and took your Amazon package. Captain, am I saying anything that's not true? That's the truth of it. If somebody comes up with a solution, I'll be happy to entertain it. We did build the best homeless shelter in the entire country. It's not like we were totally ignoring this problem. It's that we refuse to ignore the problem. Heather, am I missing anything? Heather's with LASA. I'm sorry, what? Really? We need to build another shelter. How is it filled with people from the Antelope Valley or people who got on the train? How do we know that? Okay. So are you saying we cannot provide them with a bed when we tell them to move?
Right now, that is correct. We're having a hard time. I know as of this morning, there were 5 people that wanted beds, and we couldn't get them beds anywhere within the county. 6.
Is that because of the weather?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I guess when it's raining, it would fill, wouldn't it? All right.
Well,
there was 6 trying to get a bed, and only 2 were able to.
I'm sorry, say it again.
There were 6 individuals trying to secure a bed today from one team, and only 2 were able to. One had to go to somewhere for a shelter.
So how many more beds do we need?
That's a great question. I mean, I've been doing homeless services since '07, and we have always been at capacity.
Well, wait a minute. LASA ought to be able to tell me how many beds we need
Agreed.
in order to keep people off our streets.
I can follow up with the team that runs the shelter program and get a number for you.
I'm not with Lawson.
I know them, I know.
I can get a number from you from that team.
All right, thank you. So, what's next? Speaker cards?
This is the time to address the City Council agency authority on non-agendized matters. Speaker cards may be found on the back table of the council chambers. If you have completed a speaker card, please ensure that you have placed it in the basket so that you may be recognized. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Please keep in mind, state law prohibits the City Council from acting on items not on the agenda, and your matter may be referred to the city manager. Thank you.
Isabel Rojas? Isabel, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. My name is Isabel Rojas, and I'm here with the Youth Leadership Coalition. The AV Youth Leadership Coalition is writing in response of the fentanyl overdoses in Antelope Valley. The YLC group is a youth trying to educate other youth our age about drugs. And we try to prevent overdoses in the AV. We are writing this letter to bring awarenesses to the overdoses that have happened in Antelope Valley and hope to take step forward change. According to a National Institute about drug abuse, nearly 92,000 people in the U.S. have died from drug involvement overdoses in 2020, including illicit drugs and prescription opioids. Imagine how much it has increased since 2022. Do you know that the Los Angeles County in the AV has the highest number of opioids over prescriptions? In the LA County, an estimate of 740,000 residents struggle with substance use disorders and deaths involving synthetic opioids such as fentanyl, and it continues to rise. Also, fentanyl is one of the most dangerous and deadly substances to ever produce. It is 100 times worse than morphine, and it is in our schools. According to Drug Enforcement Administration, in 2020, Los Angeles County had 1,170 deaths involving fentanyl. This has also increased. The Youth Leadership Coalition is here today to bring awarenesses and ask for a change. Many students fall into peer pressure and use it to fix their problems, which is why we're here to advocate for prevention and harm reduction programs to come to our schools as well. With these numbers, and what is the City Council doing to address the fentanyl crisis here in the AV? Thank you. With these numbers, what is the City Council doing to address these fentanyl crisis here in the AV?
Right?
Yeah.
You know, that really is something we haven't paid a lot of attention to, as to the numbers and how it compares to other cities. Could we get that information? Good.
They likely have those stats somewhere. We can find it out.
And do you have any suggestions as to programs that are working elsewhere?
To have training of the product Narcan, so they have trainings to how to use it.
You know, you caught me, you've surprised me. I just assumed that, I mean, when I get pain medication, I get Narcan with it, right? I mean, I didn't really realize there had to be a lot of training with it. Does there?
Yes, so then if there is an incident with an overdose, people know how to take care of the situation.
So who's doing a program that works?
So right now, the city of Palmdale actually started a campaign for fentanyl awareness, and they also created a website where they can go to learn about fentanyl overdoses and what's taking place. And they're also going to host a town hall where they're inviting city members to attend. And that's kind of what we're hoping for the city of Lancaster, is just to bring awareness to the fentanyl crisis that's going on.
Okay. I'm up for it. Let's get somebody on it, see what we can do. I would like us to actually be getting Narcan out there, you know, in people's hands, because you know, if it's not in the junk drawer, when you need it, right? Okay. Did you want to work with somebody on the staff to do that?
Yes, please.
Okay. Jason, can
We'll
you?
we'll get her number and somebody will reach out.
Okay, and then follow up with me and, you know, let's give it 60 days, see what we come up with, all right?
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Your number is on the card.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, good. That was excellent, by the way. We need a picture. Come on up here, let's get a picture. Let's see, let's move this over here. Come on. See, if we bring you up here, you get the sign behind you. Okay, good. Okay, here we go. Okay. Who's got to move to? Thanks. Oh, you did a great job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, maybe in some of the flags or.
Okay, let's do it again.
Rex, move over against and then the back wall. There you go.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
I guess that was the only speaker card, right? Okay. Any comments from the council? Anybody else got a burning desire to say something? No? Come on. Now, remember, you're the deputy mayor. You're supposed to be supportive of the council.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I just want to just say that time and time again.
Name and who you're representing.
My name is Sean Cannon. I'm representing myself. I just want to say that time and time again in the city of Lancaster, every time we come here twice a month, more and more we're seeing that young people are stepping up to do something about what's going on in the city and offering their leadership and perspective. So again, when you look at a young person and you think of them as a future leader, this young lady just showed us that there are present leaders right here. And that's all I want to say.
Good. So we should name this, where's that card?
Isabel.
We'll name this the Isabel Rojas Program. Right. And I'm serious about that. We'll actually build it around you. Okay? Good. Thank you. Okay. The next meeting is scheduled Tuesday, December 13, 2022 at 5 p.m. This meeting is adjourned, and Carol, I'm hungry and I'm coming home.